Hello and welcome to this Carveco Maker tutorial. Today I'm going to do this tutorial in inches, so I'm sure that'll make quite a few of you happy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a sign together for a wine bar. It's going to incorporate between 4 and 6 3D reliefs, and it's also going to incorporate some V-bit carving and some cutout as well with end mills. I'm also going to make some deliberate mistakes along the way, mistakes that I've made in the past, and how to overcome them in Carveco. So this is the Carveco Maker screen, and we will go into the program just by going up here, new model, and this is the first dialog box that comes up for you. So we're going to alter the units into inches, and we're going to make our job, our piece of work, the overall dimensions of 36 inches by 36 inches, and we're going to adjust the resolution slider bar all the way up to the far end up here. Because we're going to be using 3D reliefs and they're going to be varying sizes as well, it's necessary to have, you know, high resolution as you can get. Not only does it give a very good indication of what the end product is going to be, you know, it's a real good high clarity, but it's a good practice to adopt, I think. Now, this little red L here just represents the start of the program. Now, you will hear some people talk about the G54. Well, this is the G54. In G-code language, it has a label, G54. It just means it's the start of the program, or what is called the work offset. Okay? When we do a few jobs on the CNC router, and if you look in past video, I do explain about the G54, work offset, and the machine home position. So if you look back in some of my other videos, you will come across some of those. But normally CNC routers start in this bottom left hand corner. So that's where we're going to put the start of the program, or the origin. It's got several different labels, but and you'll hear me use a few of them, but they all mean the same thing. And we're going to press OK. So this is the standard Carveco Maker program. In this program there's over 600 reliefs that you can use for any of your projects, and you can use multiple reliefs, and that's the subject of this video today. Multiple reliefs. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our own sign base. We're going to draw it by using some of the drawing tools in Carveco. So we're going to come over here behind my ear, and we're going to select the square, and we're going to go all the way out to the extremities of our material, because I want it right out there, full size, 36 inch by 36 inch. And we're actually drawing in the 3D screen here, and when you are drawing, sometimes it's better to draw in the 2D. So I'm just going to switch the screen or the window then. And to do that, we come up here, there's two tags. We're in a 3D screen, 2D screen. And to make it maybe a little easier for us, I'm going to put the rulers on, turn the rulers on. Now to turn the rulers on, come up here to View, down here to the bottom, Show Rulers. It's as simple as that. And you will also see that the 0 of the ruler is here and here, which coincide with our start of our program, our origin of our program. So the rulers start there as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up into this top corner, and I have snap turned on, so you can see the cursor will change to like a target. So I'm going to left click, hold it down and draw it down till I get to this corner, then release. Okay, and you can see in this dialog box or wizard or communicational, they all mean the same thing. It's just an information, two-way information. It's the way that Carveco, the program, communicates with you to know what you want it to do exactly, precisely. That's what this is for. So it's already telling us, well, it's snapped to 36 inches square, which is correct. And in this particular case, I want to round the corners. Okay, so we can do that by going in this box here, and we're going to say, oh, well, we want a inch radius corner. Well, I think it's going to be an inch. We'll have a look at it, because it's not set in concrete yet. So we've got 1 inch, and ooh, that's not enough. You know, it's not a dramatic sort of taking out the corner. But another way of doing it, okay, a manually way of doing it, is you go up here until your cursor changes to a pointer, left click and draw it down so you can pull it manually. Okay, and that looks about right, but let's make it a nice round number, and I'm going to alter this figure over here to 3.5 inches radius, but I'm going to do something better than that. I'm going to really make this stand out. I'm going to say invert. Look at that. And it's as easy as that. So I'm happy with that. And this figure here is telling me that, well, that square is right in the center of our piece of work. If you wanted to move it, you'd alter the figures there, and it will position that square wherever you wanted it to. So I'm going to say now, because I want to keep that, I'm going to say create. Okay, so we can now cross out of that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to copy this inwards about 1.5 inches, something like that, or possibly 1 inch. We'll have a look. There's one tool that will do it, which is down here. I'll move my head out the way so you can see it. Down here, and if you go over any of the icons, it will tell you exactly what it is. Offset vector, which is exactly what we want to do. We want to offset this, or copy it inwards, and we want to copy it 1 inch. We'll say 1 inch, and inwards, offset. Lovely, beautiful. We've got our frame now made, as easy as that. So I'm going to accept that and get out of that. To deselect anything, you just go anywhere in the grey part of the screen and just left click. It deselects it. So now we're going to be working in the 3D. So we're going to change to the 3D screen, which is simply done by going to 3D. And now we're going to open up the 3D clip art library. Oops. So here's the 3D clip art library with over 600 3D models that you can use. You don't pay extra for it, it comes with the program. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look for is I want to put a banner down here because I want to put a date here. So let me look at the listing down here, crests, crosses. Oh, gone past it, haven't I? Banners, here we go. And there's quite a few banners that we could use. I quite like this one. I'm going to bring it in, position it roughly in the middle there. And you'll notice it's coming. Now this is the dialog box. Now I would suggest that when you bring a when you start off, when you bring a 3D model in, make sure that this lock is on and these three are locked, because otherwise when you alter a size it could distort it, pull it out of, you know, sort of out of square as it were. And but we will, I'll show you what to do in a minute. So we know this is 36 inches long, so what I want to do is width, I want to make this, I don't want to overpower it too much, so I'm going to make this 32, we'll try 32 inches wide. 32, and we're going to apply that and have a look at it. See, it's a little bit too wide maybe. Yeah, we're going to have to take that in a little bit narrower, but we can do that manually just by going to this corner and it will. Okay, so we've made it smaller, but now we can move it along. Now I can either drag and drop it, or I can use the arrow keys on my computer board. And we can position it. We're still a little bit too big. Make it a little tiny bit smaller, and we'll reposition that again. Okay, now what I've got to be careful of, I know that we're going to be running a V-bit around here, and I don't want to nick this with the V-bit. So I think that's going to be okay just there. A little bit of a gap here, a little bit of a gap there. Now then, how high is it? That's, ooh. Now that's telling me it's 2 inches high. So it's a little bit too high. So what I'm going to do is take the locks off. And I just want to alter the Z. I just want that to come up 1 inch. Maybe 1.25 inches, maybe. 1.25 inches, maybe. 1.25 inches. And yeah, that's set right. I want this to merge high. I'm going to paste that down. I'm happy with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get a wine bottle and some glasses, and we're going to fit in here. So I'm going to go into Objects, which is down here somewhere. Objects. I'll scroll through. Oh, I'm going to scroll far. There we are. Here's a wine bottle. And we're going to put him about there, roughly. Not set in concrete yet. Put the lock on. And click over here as well for the... Oh. Got to click it twice to get the 3 locked in together. Height. Now then, how high is a wine bottle? 12, about 14 inches? I think it probably would be. So that's how high we're going to... So let's set our height at 14 inches. We're going to apply. That's a nice big bottle. I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks here. And so we're going to alter our view by going over to here to the isometric view, and we can see how high that bottle is. I want it to be a little higher than this. It's showing me it's 2.6 inches. I think that's probably fair. In relation to the sign, you know, you sort of got to enlarge the bottle, so it is going to be larger than a real bottle. And you can actually, if you wanted to, cut out of this and make it much wider or shallower by sight if you wanted to. So we're actually going to make this 2.5. So I'm going to alter that to 2.5. I think that's fine. And I'm going to say apply. Oh, see? Can't do that because I've made it smaller. Okay, so we're going to alter that again. We've got 14 inches. Apply. And unlock it. And then I can alter that. Apply. There you go. So I have a definite height there of 2.5 inches depth in Z. Okay, so we'll alter the view again, back to square on, and we're going to paste that down. And there it is. Beautiful. So now let's get some glasses. So we'll just scroll down through here. I'm sure there's some glass. Yeah, there's a glass. Oh, that's a nice wine glass. It's very nice. So put him about here, because what I want to do is make the base of the glass the same as the base of the bottle. Make sure the lock is on. And how high would it be in relation to that bottle? About half, so 7. Let's try 7 inches high. 7 inches high. I don't want it as proud, as wide as the bottle, but I want it to look a nice shape. Okay, that looks about right. So I'm going to fetch it down. Now, to move it on the screen there, before we paste it down, let's have a look here. Get it somewhere near. So you can move it several different ways. I'm sort of using the keys now. Let's zoom in and have a look. I think it needs to come down a slight amount. That's about it, I think. Again, let's have a look at the isometric view. Oh, it's nice and rounded. I'm not going to alter that. That looks fine to me. Okay, we'll paste that. Beautiful. At the same time, I don't want to overpower this job. I think one glass and one bottle is fine. I want to put some writing in here. And so at the moment I'm going to close the clip art library. And we're going to come over here to our text tool. Okay, so this is our text tool. Now, any font that is in your computer will come up in here, so you can use any of it. But you know, fonts can be a little tricky. You might have to go in and alter some. I generally use Times Roman, which is all the way down here somewhere. T, where are you? There you are, Times Roman. And this size, this actually relates to points. Now I'm going to put here, I know from using Carveco that about 150 points is, for a job of this size of 36 inches, is probably going to be about right. So we're going to use capitals for all the writing, and we're going to say the, and I want to break this up. So deselect it, and I just like to break it up. Grape. And the last word here, I actually need to move it down quite a bit, but it'll be fine for now. The grape escape. Okay, so we need to move that word down a little. This word will move across, just so it cosmetically looks nice. This one we're going to move down slightly and across. And this one down a little bit more. Across. Oh, I can just see a problem here. Now the A and the R here are crossing over. Now Carveco just would not write a G-code or toolpath for that, because these lines are intersecting, so you've got to put them right. So visually you can sort of do it. So to move that, I just want to move the R just across a little tiny bit. So click on it. You come over to here, oh, it's grayed out. But click on that to ungroup. So there you can just select the R. Okay, so I'm going to move that over very, very slightly. I think that's fair enough, and that's fine. And now select them all and group it. In actual fact, because I want these three to be cut together, I'm going to group all three together, so when you go on one, the whole lot is grouped as one. So machine the whole lot in one go there. And now down the bottom here, on the banner, so it's on top of this 3D relief, we're going to write the date. Slightly bigger, so I'm going to go to possibly 180. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think we'll squeeze that in. 1927. And now we're going to move that. Hopefully. Oh, let's create that first. And now we're going to move that to get it bang in the center. And up slightly. That looks okay. That's going to be fine. And that's grouped on its own. We'll do that one separately because it's going to be on a 3D relief. Okay. So a sign is, you know, we're building on this sign. Now building it up. Okay, let's put some more 3D art in here. So we'll open up our clip art library, and I saw some grapes here. Oh, fruit as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this bunch of grapes and put it here, but it's not big enough. So see, 5 inches, 7, 8 inches. How big is a bunch of grapes in relation to a bottle? Well, let's alter it and we'll discover. I'm going to say, let's try 8 inches for a start. Apply. That possibly looks okay. Possibly. Let's have a look in the isometric view. Always best to check with that when you're doing something like this. Now what I actually did to move that over is just hover over here, left hand right mouse key down, and just you can move it anywhere. Well, that's looks a bit flat. It's only 0.3 of an inch, so we're going to say, let's unlock it, and we're going to raise that up. Raise this, let's have a look. Let's catch hold of it and do it. That's nearly 0.7. That looks a lot better, I think. Let's have a let's go back to the. I think we'll position it over here slightly, and maybe rotate it a bit. Look a bit better. I think it could possibly go a little larger actually. Let's try 10 inches. Oh, I didn't have the lock on. Go back. Let's try that again. Grape. Lock on. Let's try 10 inches. And we're going to apply that. That's a nice big bunch of grapes. And we'll rotate it just slightly. And we'll go to the isometric view. And we're going to raise, first of all take the lock off. And then raise him so they look rounded but not distorted, and I think that would be about right. So look square on again. Yep, I'm happy with that paste. And I saw, now, you know, not all wine, I suppose, is strictly grapes, so I think we can probably get away with putting some fruit on here. Because I'd rather like that. Look up here, that would look really nice. And I'm going to put it right there. 1.2 inches. Let's have a look at that in the isometric. I don't want to make this overly busy. That's okay, I'm going to leave it as that is. That's fine. Oh, what's that there? I'll have to get rid of that in a minute. Okay. So we can cut those out. So there's our sign. I'm quite happy with that. It's got a good mixture, I think, and it'd make quite a presentable sign. So we're going to machine this using a number of tools. So we're going to start off by machining this, I think, with let's have a look in our tooling list, see what we've got. Now to get to the tooling list, very easy, and tooling strategies is simply go over here to toolpaths, click that once, and the toolpaths open up down here. So we're going to go to a 3D tooling operation because we're going to machine this, get rid of all the waste material first. So we're going to do a roughing operation. Now for our roughing operation, let me see, let's scroll down here, wood and plastic, roughing operation, 12 mil. That'll probably do it. But we're not working in millimeters, are we? We're working in inches. So let's open the inch tooling list up, wooden, plastic, and roughing. 1/2 inch end mill. Yeah, that'll probably do it. I'm going to select that one. I've got to go in here and let's see what Carveco has step over 0.175 inches. We're going to accept that. Step down ½ an inch, step down. Ooh, nah, probably 0.3 step down. I think that's probably better. 100 inches a minute. Let me see, 100 inches a minute. That's getting along. That'll probably be okay. And plunge rate 30 inches a minute. In actual fact, I normally make the plunge rate 50%. I've got an industrial machine, so we make that 50. Spindle speed, that's okay. Tool number 1, it doesn't really matter about the tool number because I don't have a tool changer. So I'm going to say that's okay. Raster, normal raster is fine. So it's just going to come here and just go back and forth. And let me see. Cut direction, both, yes. Z slices, well, we've already answered that up there. Oh, okay. I was telling us it's going to do it in nine cuts. That's okay. Lead-in moves. Yeah, I like to use lead-in moves. That means, you know, the tool's going to come in and zigzag down. 10mm angle. Yep, that's all okay. This is standard stuff. You know, there's no need to alter that. It's fine. Machines. Oh, that's a bit. It's a bit high. I'm going to say 1 inch. 1.0. Home. I normally, the home and the safe, oh, let me see. Actually, I could probably do that ½ an inch. 0.5. I normally make it the same. 0.5, then there's no mistakes. Let's set up the material, and we're going to say 3 inch. 3.0. Model position, top of the material. Machine Z0, top of the material. I always make it the top of the material. A lot of people do make Z0 at the machine base or the machine bed, but you can have problems and end up machining into your bed. So I gotta okay that and just cut 0.5 inch mil. Abbreviate everything I do. Calculate. Okay, that's machined all that. Now if you want to get rid of the red so it doesn't interrupt, you know, your viewing of what you're doing, just go over here to the toolpath where you see this little light on here, and you can click on that and switch the toolpath off. So let's now go in and do our finishing toolpath. Whole relief, it's selected, it's purple all around there. Okay. Finishing operation, and we're going to do this not with a millimeter. We're working in, I've got to remember that we're working in inches. Quarter inch end mill, sorry, no, not a 1/4 inch end mill. Finish 3D finishing. That's what we got open. And we're going to do, here we go, 1/4 inch bull nose. And select that. Classic raster is fine. That means it's going to come in here, go back and forth, all the way through. Multiple passes. Now I want to do it in one pass. Let's set up the tool. 0.3. Actually, if you do 0.25, it leaves you less hand finishing. Okay, it leaves less furring, because you do sometimes get some furring with some materials, whether it be pine or whatever. You know, some of them can fur, and you've got to go in there and finish it. 100 inches a minute feed rate, 50 plunge. Now, because I think that's a little slow for this size tool, I would go 18,000 RPM. But there again, you can alter that manually in Mark 3 or whatever program you use. Okay, raster, multiple passes. No, we want one pass. Let's have a look. Step down to that. It's okay. Lead in, but it's not necessary to have a lead in move with this one, I don't think. Or maybe we'll leave that on at the start. Maybe good practice to do that. 3 inches thickness. Something. Okay, so we're just going to write fin, and it's 0.25 inch. Okay, calculate. And that's another thing too, you know, I mean, this is a fairly new Windows 10 laptop I'm doing this on actually. And, you know, I think it's an i7. So, you know, the better computer that you're running Carveco on, the faster things happen. You know, if you're using, you know, sort of a earlier Windows 10 computer or upgraded Windows 7, with an i3 or something, you know, it's going to take a long time. Probably, you know, it's going to slow the computer up quite a bit. Not forgetting we got the resolution turned right up on this too. Okay, that's done. So we can turn that one off. Oh, let's get out of this first, because we've still got some machining to do. So deselect that, so we want to select that. I want to do this separately, and there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you in a minute, and I'll show you. Some of you might pick this up as I'm doing it. I'll tell you after the fact. Okay, toolpath, V-bit carving, selected vector, and a maximum depth. Now I don't think I want to go any deeper than, oh, probably, I'm going to limit the depth. I'm going to limit the depth to 1/4 inch, maybe. Maybe 0.3. 0.3 of an inch. I'm going to limit it to. I'm not going to allow the, you know, to go any deeper than that. Carving tool. Now I got a sort of fairly big industrial V-bit carving tool, So we're going to go down here to edges, wood plastic, and here we go. V-bit carving, 1.25 inch, 90 degree. That's a good tool to have. And let's open that up and have a look. Okay, it's going to do it in one cut. Step down, point down. We could say 0.3 maximum. Feed rate 100, yeah, that's fine. There again, you can slow it up a bit if you want. I will leave this at 30 inches a minute. But again, I like this spinning up quite fast. So we're going to go 18,000 RPM for this one. Let's check it out. 0.35 inches wide, that's okay. Oh, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. So, you know, you can check with Carveco how deep and how wide these letters are going to be. And it calculates it out for you. Leave the safe side, leave the material thickness. So we're going to say V cut 1, just simple. Done. Accept that, get out of that, switch that off. Ooh. Deselect that, select this, and we're going to V-cut the next one. Tools, V-bit, tool, select, check, 18, it's the only one I really want to alter. V-cut 2. Okay, happy with that. Okay, so the next one I want to do a V-bit carve around this outside edge here. And I want to go down a maximum depth of 3/4 inch. So 0.75. Choose the tool. There it is. Select it. So it'll do it in about 3 passes. Again, 18,000. Just have a little check here. That's fine. Do it in 3 passes. So this is all hasn't altered. So I'm going to go V cut 3. Calculate. Oh, dear me. That's absolutely the wrong thing. See? mistake. So how to alter that now is go in here, go to cut 3 and highlight it, this one, highlight, delete, and it goes away. So that's how to, if you make a mistake, okay. So we're going to cut a profile. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do along. So we're going to run along this line. Start to do that. So 0.75. We want to go down 3. We want that to be 3/4 of an inch. So that means it's going to be 3/4 of an inch wide as well. Not worried about tolerance. Let's choose a tool. Our favorite old V-bit. 90° V. It's going to do it in 4 cuts. But I'm going to leave that as it is, 18,000. The clay milling is okay. You're okay with a router like this because this is all solidly mounted. Add lead-in moves, not really necessary. The V-bit will just hog it out. So V cut 3. Calculate. Okay. Deselect that and select this one. In fact, I don't think there's going to be any need for that one because this is going to be machined to that line. So really, that was just a guide. Okay, so the only thing to do now is to simulate all the tool paths and see what it looks like. Aha! Now it's done the 3D cut and I don't know what's happened here. We'll have a look. So let's turn on these 3. Actually, that one. What happened? Why haven't they been machined? Well, let's have a look. Aha! They've been machined, but they're in mid-air. If you notice here, this lettering here is not machined on there at all. And the same with all the tool paths. And that's because when I wrote the tool paths originally, I said start off at the 0, but the 0's 3 inches up in the air. But not all is lost. You can correct this very simply. And I'll show you one by one. Starting off with, I think starting off with the 3rd cut, so we'll turn the others off. Like that. And we'll open up and edit this outside cut. You do that by going to the red area there where it says V-cut 3, open that up, and it takes you back into the window where you was working with along, selected vector, aha. So we know we need to start it Okay, now I'm sort of thinking there's about 3/4 of an inch there left. So I think that we need to put that, the start depth at possibly 2.2 maybe, and recalculate. Can I calculate for the following reason? Finishing depth must not be below the start depth. Okay. And that's quite right. So this needs to be 2.9, because that's going to be the finish depth. Calculate. Okay. Problem solved. Okay. So we can turn that one off. Okay, this one here, now this one's a little bit more tricky. So we'll zoom in. Okay, so we're gonna come down quietly with this one, and oh, not 3, 2. Okay. So we're going to start at maybe 0.2, 0.3 possibly. Let's recalculate that. Not quite deep enough, you see. The edges of the letters are still up here in mid-air. Okay, so let's go 0.4. Recalculate. Oh, nearly there. Nearly there. Although I think, yes, I think that's going to be fine. That's going to be fine, because this is slightly rounded as well. We'll have a look when we've done the... Well, okay, we're going to accept that. Turn that one off. Turn the next one on, which is over here. And let's have a look at this one. So this is going to come right down into this board. We know this is roughly about 3/4 of an inch. So let's open up and edit this, well, not that one, this one. Start depth, if we say 2.25, calculate. Not quite enough. See, not quite enough. Probably if I went another 1/4 of an inch, that would probably do it. So 2.5. Calculate. Perfect. So we're going to accept that, and we're going to come back in. What view do we want? That one. And we're going to redo all the toolpaths. Perfect. So there I'm showing you how to, you know, if you have made a bit of a blue, you know, it's simple to retrace your steps. You're not going to lose the whole job. You can retrace your steps and correct it. This program allows you to do that. and it just auto saved. I don't know whether you noticed that. Okay, so you know the final job now is to save the toolpaths. Well, I'll just save one or two, and I'll show you how to do that, because I've had a lot of comments. That's another thing too, comments more the merrier. So if you want to leave them down below, and also below this video and at the end of the video there's a discount code. You get 5% off any of the Carveco products. Okay, so we are going to save some toolpaths now. So you just go here to the floppy disk and press, and we'll save this one. Now for this I'm just going to save it to the desktop. That'll do. Now then, a lot of people say to me, oh, they've looked in the listing of Carveco, you know, what Carveco will save it for, what machines it will save it for, what G code it'll save it as for, you know, what machines, and say, oh, my machine isn't in that list. Doesn't matter. I'll show you something. Now, all these machines, there are hundreds of them that Carveco has particular, you know, sort of programmed writing code for, whether it's a toolmark or what, you know, there's some specific codes for some machines. But if your machine is not listed here, I'll show you where to go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here we go. These two here. G code inch tap. Okay, so if you're working in inches, G code inch tap. All machines understand that. It's the basic G code language. Okay, all machines understand that. So you know, it doesn't matter what machine you got, you won't have a problem using that. And obviously, if you was writing this program in millimeters and your machine was set up in millimeters, it would be G code millimeter tap. So it's just that, and save. And you go through each individual one. You know, once that one's been saved, you put that one over here, get the next one put here, label it whatever you want to, G code tap, save it to wherever you want to save it. So I hope you've enjoyed that video today. I know it's been a long one, but there is a huge amount of information, and if you want to be successful in, you know, in your hobby or successful in business, and if you're opening a business up, you know, I mean, this is the best, absolute best program on the market. You know, for a hobbyist, you know, if you're just starting out, you can't beat this program. Maker. The next one up from this is Maker Plus. And that one you can actually manipulate 3D reliefs. You can actually manipulate these, and I'll show you later on. I think maybe the next video's planned for Maker Plus, and I should be altering a 3D relief, and next video after that I think I should be machining that 3D relief that I'm altering. So Maker Plus, and of course there's the full-on Carveco program as well. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget, underneath this video and at the end of the video there's a discount code for all the Carveco products. And well, thank you for joining me, and it's bye for now.